Good afternoon, everybody. Let's try that one again. Good afternoon, everybody. That's much better. Okay. I want to welcome everyone to Real Talk. This is our launch show. About to say launch party for a second there, sorry. This is our launch show. This is basically what we're doing to get people to engage on hot topics and to voice their opinions on what we are about to talk about. If you don't want to stand up and talk, you can tweet us with the hashtag RealTalksTV. I will bring that up and I will announce your tweets online. I've got a lot of people helping me today. I've got my co-host, Charli Murphy.
Hey everybody, me.
My videographer, Luciano.
What's up, guys?
And my sound engineer, TJ. He's got his back to everybody. Alright, so let's get started. I'm going to start with the first question. And it is a very heavy one. So I will give people enough time to think about what they want to do. So the first question basically is, has the status quo of society deemed it impossible for a woman to be accused of certain crimes against men? Now, for example, that would be domestic abuse, which is the most common example. Can
girls beat boys? Can they beat them up? Will they have it?
So that's what it basically comes down to. We do have a couple of stats, which Charli Murphy has kindly brought for us, which she'll be announcing just now for everybody.
Alright, so first of all, 40% of, this was taken from 2012-13, so obviously last year. 40% of domestic abuse victims are male. For every 5 victims, 2 of them would be men. 18% or 1 in 6 men have experienced domestic abuse since the age of 16. 1.1% of men and 1.3% of women were victims of severe force by their partner. I thought that one was obviously noteworthy because the difference in men and women is only 0.2. That math there. Yeah. Right. Men with children are more likely to be victims of domestic abuse.
I've never been a victim of domestic abuse. That's not going to happen.
And in 2011-12, 17 men actually died at the hands of their partner.
17 men have been violently beaten to the fact that they have died because of domestic abuse. Now, you don't really hear about this in the news.
Serena Williams is one.
You don't really hear about that in the news as much as when women are victims of domestic abuse. So we put it to you guys, do you think that the status quo of society have deemed it impossible for women to be accused of these kind of crimes? So
yes or no? Who's yes?
Does anyone want to announce first?
Who thinks it is impossible for women to split? You want to talk? Alright, cool. First one of the team, say it. Good.
I don't think it's impossible, but like it basically is because when Solange, when she attacked Jay-Z, it kind of was like, oh my God, Jay-Z the waste man, he's much rare. But when Chris Brown beat up Rihanna, alright, some of the ladies they were still condoning it because that's my bae or B, whatever the word is. I don't even know if I don't use the word, but yeah, it was all of that, innit? So yeah, it kind of died down. The whole Solange thing kind of died down, and like with the whole Chris Brown and Rihanna thing, it didn't. So like men are deemed as moist if they get if they're victim of domestic abuse, they're deemed as moist, so they don't like to speak out about it. So I'm gonna give you a real life example. I had a girl that was running me down, and I actually didn't want to be in a relationship with her, and she boxed me in my head. To be quite frank, she boxed me in my head, and I just let it go because I would have felt like moist hitting her back. I just let it go, but it so happened so that she was actually stalking me at different events that I was DJing at, and it just got too much, and she tried to attack me, and I had to defend myself, and I didn't hit her back, but I had to manhandle her and just show her that I am a man and it can't go on. So you need to stop. And it did stop. So yeah, you don't always have to hit her back, but defend yourself because you'll walk around and you'll be a beating stick for life, and that's not me. So yeah, that's my stance on it still.
Thank you. So who's got anything? Yeah.
Does anyone actually think that it's not impossible for women to be accused?
Wait, before we actually go to other people, I do want to point out what you said about the Solange and Chris Brown example, because obviously there were people that said, oh, Jay-Z's moist, like should have slapped her up. But then, come on now, if he had slapped her now, what would everyone have said? Do you know what I mean? Like, do you know that couldn't have happened? It couldn't have happened, and then there's other things. So, who's got like an opposing example? Who wants to shed some light? Don't be shy, don't be shy. Is it? Here we go.
it's not that it's an opposing thing, it's just that two things. One, with those stats, they don't know if they're in gay relationships. It could have been another man beating them. That is the thing.
That's very true. Yeah.
It's not that it's impossible for a woman to. It was in Corrie, wasn't it? Where she beat up a man and got arrested for it and whatever else. But it's that, not just historically, but in general, when there are domestic abuse and all that, men can do more to hurt a woman than a woman can hurt a man because they are stronger. That's why it's not that it's impossible, it just seems less likely and it sounds less believable. That's why it's...
But then in countering that, like, because men are seen as the stronger sex when it comes to being physically dominant over women, do women actually use that and hide behind the fact that you're bigger, you're stronger, so you shouldn't hit me. So I'm going to beat you up, knowing that you cannot hit me. So it does kind of work both ways. I mean, it's not that I think the men are moist or like losers or whatever. It's just that they know they're bigger, they know they're stronger. If you punch me in the face, it's going to hurt. But if I punch you in your face, I'm going to break your skull. So it's two different levels, but at the same time, are women using that to hide behind the fact so that they can physically beat guys knowing that they're not going to have anything back?
Can we try a different angle of the question? Because obviously we all seem in agreement, yeah? But when is it okay, if ever, for a man to hit a woman? Now, like, before you say yes, this is good. Because, like, as a woman, you never condone someone to hit anyone. That's just, you don't hit man or woman, whatever. It's mean. But as a woman, I've seen, road girls. We've got road man and we've got road girls, and they're on this high thing, and they're like, you know what? Slap me in my face, but slap me in my face. And then when they get the slap now, how could you do this to me? Slap her down there. So when is it okay, if ever, to slap a woman? Like, not just about beat her up, because that's excessive and violence and stuff. But when is it okay to hold burn it, man? You know what? You cool.
Honestly, I think the only time, and that's not even, it's just a hot box. If a female ever spat on me or at me, oh dear Lord, honestly, like, I'd probably call my mum first and let her know, your mum, someone's about to catch a box, and then deliver that slap. But I mean, I'm not saying, in general, like, all jokes aside, you shouldn't really be hitting a female regardless. Like, no matter what it is. I mean, you could grab her by the shoulder and shake her, let her know where I'm going, but other than that, like, raising your hand on a female is not cool.
So I think what you're saying is just very reflective in general about how we feel about men, and that we feel there's a big difference between men and women using sort of physical force on people. So like, men shouldn't hit women and this, that and the other. What about women shouldn't raise their hands to men? Because I think it's just, in general, everyone just keep your hands to yourself. Like, use your words, do you know what I mean? And that's all it needs to be. I think in general, if someone's going to hit me, I'll probably hit them back. And it's always going to be a rhetorical. And if I had a son, or when I have a son, I will never say to him, if a girl hits you, stand there and take it and smile in her face. I will say, if she hits you, box her back, and maybe she won't come back after that. And that's it. But I don't think it shouldn't be the first point of calling an argument, right, someone's talking in your face and you just hit them. I don't think it should ever be that on the man's side or on the woman's side. I just think people need to learn to use their words, and if someone just walk away, that's always a good option. I think in a lot of cases, a lot of these statistics you've probably given, if someone had walked away, it probably wouldn't have ended up so bad. But people want to stand there and argue and let it get to the point where they feel like they can't do anything but hit out. And I think that's where the problem is.
Thank you. Because we're getting a lot of like agreement and stuff over here, but you're being kind of quiet. That's common for you.
Alright, so I like your point, but then again, there's some times when you can't walk away. Like, you can walk away so many times and the girl keep coming back, and it's like eventually you have to tell her, like, yeah.
Sorry to interrupt, but that's actually true. I've been in that exact same situation where I was actually in a club and a girl who we had a bit of friction between us decided to get up into my face in the club. And I said to her, just like, calm down, move away, and she's like, oh, I'm thumping your face. Right. I'm looking at her thinking, yeah, whatever. So I actually walked away from her and she followed me around the club like, oh, I'm gonna jump in your face, I'm gonna jump in your face. I was like, oh my god. And one of my DJ friends was there as well, and I'm looking at him, dead in his face, looking at me as well. Like, I know what he's thinking, like, oh, please don't hit her, please don't hit her. I was telling him, like, we need to get this girl away from me, you know, because she carries on, like, it might escalate the situation. And then the next thing, she actually touched me in my face. And I was so shocked, like, it didn't actually hurt, like, she hit me. I was like, whoa, did you actually really hit me? And then everyone's kind of just frozen, like, oh my god, like, what's gonna happen, what's he gonna do? And then I thought, well, I'm not gonna stand here and let no one touch me in my face. So I grab her by her neck and fling her into the wall. And I'm holding her against the wall, right? And I've actually gone to hit her, and because it was a female, I hesitated before actually hitting her. So I'm holding her up by her neck, and I'm like, And then in that split hesitation, my friend who was actually DJing at the time actually ran the DJ box, and he's literally just gone like that and just grabbed me. And he's actually pulled me away, and me and him ended up fighting instead. So, as you were saying, when it comes to walking away, you can walk away as much as you want, but if they keep coming at you, and they keep following you, and they do eventually hit you, what are you going to do with them?
Like the Bible says, eye for eye. So obviously I'm not full force or anything like that, but like a little warning tap or something, like a little, like how you spank your child or something, like a little slap, and then she'll know. But if she comes back again, you have to maybe escalate a little bit. But obviously I frown against hitting women. Like it's always the last resort. Then again, sometimes it has to be done. Like I remember the story in school, like this girl kept talking rubbish to so many people, and then one day, like in class, like one guy just had enough. He just banged her in the corner, and no one wanted to help her as well because they knew that she deserved it. We were like, her twin brother heard about it, and then they're like, the sisters get beaten up. He goes, so she deserves it. So everyone was like, all right, fair enough. Right? There's those just them cases that some girls need it.
So we are actually in agreement that in extreme cases it can actually be necessary that a man will just taunt a woman in her face.
Fully. All day.
I don't think so. I think it's not correct at all because you don't know how much, especially if a girl's been winding a guy up, you don't know how much has been wound up, so you don't know how much force he'll put on the woman, do you get me? So if it comes from a punch or whatever, it might be like something that will put her to a grave, like you actually never know. So I think when Omar said about the shaking thing, get a girl that hold her with force and tell her that, you know, stop or else kind of thing, but I don't think no, guys shouldn't raise his hand because you don't know if the girl's been chasing you around the club, your anger's getting higher and higher. You might not even clock how high your anger has gotten, and then when you come to slap or a punch or whatever, it might be too much, and then you're in trouble. Or you could have just like done something else.
Just obviously, but just on that point, it's just we're still kind of going on to the he shouldn't and he shouldn't and he shouldn't. But if she wasn't railing up herself, you wouldn't be getting that man. So like, sometimes.
Hi, I was going to say the same thing, like at the end of the day I think when situations arise and everything happens, there's a certain point where a man will be able to like withhold her or shake her up and let her know what's going on, like at the end of the day that shouldn't happen. But if she thinks she's big and bad enough to not listen, then you've got like, you can't be coming with something and then not want to be taking it. Like if you're coming with it, then deal with the consequences. Like I can't be railing up to someone, railing up, and then when I can't be giving it and not expecting anything back. So I'm just saying, if you're arguing and you're like, this ain't right, and you're arguing, that's fair. But if you want to like be approachable as a woman, to like deal with him as a man, like, yeah, I'm dealing with you, then you've got to expect it. You can't expect just because he's been grown to be never hit a man. Like, what's he meant to take? Like, if that was your brother, if that was your mum, if that was your brother, your father, anyone else, and a woman's coming, it's like, yeah, enough's enough. You've got to let them know. And it's not like shut them a box, like let them know, but you've got to use some force to let them know it's not correct. And that's what
Someone, oh, there you go.
I've got someone right at the front.
Hello.
Quiet in the corner.
Well, I think like for example when you were in the club and once she hit you, obviously that was bad and the fact that she hit you means that, okay, yeah, maybe he'll hit me back. But you could have like gone to the bouncer or something, because a lot of people saw, so like if you had gone to him and be like, oh, this girl's been stalking me the whole night, and like you don't want to sleep to her level, like just because she hit you, I don't see why you want to do the same thing back, because it's not going to solve anything. Like surely if she got kicked out of the club, it would solve it even more than if you hit her, because then, and if she got banned or like whatever, and she'd be like really embarrassed to be taken out.
Thank you for that one. I think that is a whole new conversation, because now we're getting on to like, what was the video you were talking about exactly? the beaten up girl. Do you know what I mean? As in, sorry, short version. You could be in situations, clubs, parties, whatever, but if two people are having an altercation, boy, girl, whatever, boy and girl, people are quite reluctant to say anything or be like involved, like whether it's in a relationship or friendship or whatever. If two people are going at it, people, yeah, go on.
So,
but
it's actually
people don't really
a
intervene.
video that's going viral on Facebook at the moment. I saw it, I think about 3 or 4 days ago, where it was 2 women were in the park, and one of the women had the other one on the ground, and she was punching her in her face, and she was throwing some like Mayweather punches in her face. Like, so she was going in on her, like just wailing on this girl, and there was a crowd of about 10 people who were just standing around and videoing them. And the only person who actually came to the woman's defense was her 2-year-old child. And you can see in the video, the little 2-year-old walked up to the woman and just kicked her in her ankle. And he's kicking, he's like, get off my mum, he's kicking her. And like the woman actually got up and said, if you don't hold your child, I'm gonna kick him as well. So it was actually a very, very bad, it's a really deep video. And they showed a picture of her face afterwards, and like, it literally looked like she actually had been beaten up by a man. Like her left eye was closed, her right eye was bruised, her lip was busted, she had like broken teeth, everything. It was a really bad beating that she had.
Like, why do people not do anything?
So it comes down to like, why do people just stand around?
So what?
Why do people just stand around?
Yeah,
and
why
watch?
do people stand around? And no one else does.
So like sometimes you'll be standing there and you're like, is anyone going to do anything? Why don't you? Like, but no one's going to be that first person to do anything. And after they're there thinking about who's going to do something, the event's already done. Then it's like, okay, what do we do? And literally everyone, it happens in like, there's like lots of psychology studies about it. People will stand there and watch something go on, and if you ask them afterwards, why didn't you do anything? They think that someone else has called the police or someone else has done that, and nobody's done it. And that's just what people do, I think, and I think that's probably.
I mean, they call it. I think in psychology they call it the bystander effect, where there's basically when something incident happens that is so bad like that, you yourself think, if I get involved, what's going to happen to me? So if someone actually did get involved and the woman turned on them, you don't know what she's got. She could have a knife, she could have a gun in her, and if you then get yourself involved and something happens to you, and you end up worse than the person who was getting beat in the first place, you're going to think, well, should I have got involved in the first place? So you do get that kind of that bystander effect, of where people do just stand back rather than getting involved.
Another thing as well, if it's 2 women fighting, people have a tendency to think that, okay, well, it's even. Either party can win. If it's a guy and a woman, people will jump in. If it's a woman and, say, somebody who's much, much younger than her, somebody will jump in. If it's 2 guys, only 2 guys, no one will jump in. If it's 2 women, no one will jump in. So I think it comes down to the dynamics of who they think is perceived to be the person who's going to be able to get the better of them. If 3 guys jumped on 1 guy, guys would jump in. At some point, guys would jump in. Because at some point it's like, right, he's no longer defending himself, he can't defend himself, and then somebody would jump in to take care of it. But I think the other issue is as well is when it comes to, women hitting guys hitting women, I think I did a little bit of a study about 2 years ago, and looked at the dynamics of what domestic violence was. What was classed as domestic violence, where people were actually beaten. And obviously we can look at male-female relationships, then you've got gay relationships, then you've got lesbian relationships. And one of the things that was noted is that lesbian relationships have the highest amount of domestic abuse and domestic violence. Lesbian relationships, not heterosexual relationships, not gay relationships. Heterosexual relationships came last. Actually, sorry, gay relationships came last, then you had heterosexual, and then lesbian. Topped out at 40-something%. And I think that's quite important, because when you look at how some women feel, once in a relationship where they feel that they're with someone who is physically equal to them, now I can behave the way I really want to behave. Because that's the way some women look at it. Not saying that all women look at it that way, but that's the way, because now they can do what they want to do physically and not have the fear of having their head cracked open or something like that. And I think that those things are quite important as well, because I think the lady who got her hand up, she actually brought up about this is looking into heterosexual relationships, but not necessarily. It could be 2 men, you said. which is actually quite important, you know. But these things aren't always looked at.
Cool. What's up? Bit?
I was just going to say, in terms of the lesbian relationship thing, is in lesbian relationships, it's going to sound so cliche and stereotypical and whatnot, but there is a lot of time where it's a femme with a stud. So a lot of these, the more masculine or dominant one in the relationship, then tries to assert their dominance even more by doing things like domestic violence. That's why I think at least it raises a lot of I know people who have been in that situation. But does that kind of go back to, like, if you saw a manly woman fighting a man, would someone stop it?
I've got something to say about that question, yeah. Sorry, let me see. Taking parts. Ooh! Yeah. Okay, I have a cousin who is a lesbian, and she's a stud, right? And she, into my family's history, my stud cousin is attracted to my mum's boyfriend's sister, who's not a lesbian. Following?
Yeah.
Anyway, so my mum's boyfriend's sister's partner. Right, start again. So, gay cousin likes a straight lady. Her boyfriend was in a situation, we were all at a party, and my cousin basically groped his girlfriend. Yeah? Like, you know, oh yeah, you're sexy, whatever. Like, being inappropriate towards his girlfriend. Now, they got into a fight, and half the family was like, no, she's a girl, you can't do that. Yeah, that one. Okay, cool. Is it on? No, it's not on. Cool, yeah. So, half the family was like, no, you can't do that because she's a girl. Other half of the family, she's moving like a man, so beat her like one. So, obviously, what you're saying is that if it's a manly woman and then a more feminine lady, it's like, where is the line? Because she was groping her and touching her and whatever as a man would. Like, she fancies her, she wants her, innit? But she doesn't like her back. So we felt, well, part of the side I was on was we felt that the boyfriend was in his right, not to obviously to fight her to go in, but to be like, dude, if you're gonna treat my woman like a man, dude, for real. If you ever see my cousin, like, she's hench. No, my cousin's hench. But yeah, she was touching her up like a man would, like, you know, how someone would be in a club and be like, oh, babes. That's how she talks. She's a man. Like, she's a proper man. And so yeah, so I felt it was warranted to, if you wanted to move like that, then you're going to get treated like that. You can't suddenly, and it kind of going back to the beginning, if we're going around the circle, is that she can't suddenly be a girl when she doesn't want to get hit. Do you know what I mean? You was moving mannish, you was touching up his woman like a man, so you're going to take tumps like a man, innit? So yeah, when it's the dynamics, I fully agree with that, because she suddenly, oh yeah, but I'm a female. No, you're not. But yeah, so.
Does anyone else have any more points on this?
Anyone else before we go on to the next one? Yeah, no? Totally agree, cool.
Alright, so we're gonna move on to our next.
Which one are we doing?
So we're gonna move on to our next one, which is a much more like